an important ingredient for balancing this thing called life. Yeah, it's important to be productive and chase your dreams, but you know what they say about all work and no play. And even after work and play, do not deprive your body of the downtime needed to refresh and recuperate. So on a Saturday like this, if you can, why not relax, at least for the next half hour, as you turn the pages of your favorite magazine with me, Theodore Henry. Sounds good? Well, stay tuned.
With Jamming. It's Reggae Month 2019. The streets dance as the nation recognizes this intangible cultural product it has given the world. Ocho Rios, Montego Bay, Linstead and Kingston, the birthplace of reggae. There is an event for the young and the early followers of the music. Come on everybody, let's dress up and go out. Let's celebrate this beat that unites all races. Reggae Month 2019, celebrating reggae's legacy.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Government is proposing to spend $803 billion managing the country's affairs in the 2019-2020 fiscal year. As usual, the Finance Ministry receives the largest sum, with most of that $391 billion earmarked to meet the country's debt obligations. The national budget for the fiscal year that starts on April 1 also reveals a major commitment to national security. That portfolio is getting a significant boost of $7.6 billion to its capital budget, for a total of close to $93 billion when recurrent expenses are added. Meanwhile, Governor General Sir Patrick Allen delivered the 2019-2020 throne speech on Thursday and announced a $1 billion social housing program to benefit the indigent and relocate communities deemed vulnerable or labeled as tenement yards.
The government will undertake a comprehensive multi-agency national survey of squatter settlements to accurately ascertain the extent of squatting in the country.
Newly appointed Minister of Science, Energy and Technology, Favour Williams, is promising accountability and good governance at agencies under her administration, including Petrojam. Minister Williams says her ministry will be the first to take up Cabinet's policy of transparency in the selection of boards and committees.
It will be about institutionalizing good governance in the procurement process, in HR, and across the institution. Because right now, what the Jamaican people want is for their hope and their trust to be restored in this organization. And so that's the first order of business. Of course, we have to ensure that the operations of the entity, especially Petrojam, continues and runs well. We have to complete on the ownership structure of the entity so that we can move forward and make those decisions that need to be made.
Minister Williams' appointment is among several administrative changes announced by the Prime Minister on Wednesday. 2 Ministers of State, Floyd Green and Alanda Terrelong, have been reassigned. So too Permanent Secretaries Carol Palmer, Sansia Bennett Templer and Audrey Sewell. Prime Minister Andrew Holness tabled the compulsory acquisition of shares in Petrojam Limited Act 2019 in Parliament on Thursday, paving the way for Jamaica to reclaim the Venezuelan government's 49% stake in the state oil refinery. Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith reiterated government's position earlier in the week.
We're therefore written to PDV Caribe to advise them that we remain open to reaching a negotiated agreement and to express once more that this step is not a hostile step, but is one which asserts the interest of the Jamaican people.
Government says it has been seeing results from the over $600 million allocated to its dengue outbreak response.
I wish to reassure the public that the team at the Ministry of Health is doing all that it can, including its stakeholders, to ensure the best possible health outcomes for those currently affected by dengue and to prevent the spread of the virus to other members of the population. We urge, Mr. Speaker, Jamaicans to search, to destroy mosquito breeding sites around their homes, visit their doctors if they experience symptoms, and follow the prescribed course of treatment.
Meanwhile, the health minister has put the country on alert for an increase in the number of seasonal influenza or flu cases.
We wish to advise this Honourable House and the members of the public that the flu is to be taken very seriously, as it can lead to pneumonia and blood infections, cause diarrhea and seizures in children. The flu can also worsen chronic medical conditions, Mr. Speaker, such as heart or lung disease. So if you have an underlying condition, then having this bout of the flu can actually make things worse. Persons at greater risk, Mr. Speaker, of dangerous complications from the flu are infants and young children, adults 65 years and older, pregnant women, and persons with chronic medical conditions or a weakened immune system.
The Education Ministry says preparations are far advanced and going smoothly for the February 26 ability test for the primary exit profile, PEP.
Teachers are now ready. Teachers are aware that the different components of the test are fully ventilated. They have been active preparing the student by utilizing material provided by the ministry in Hayden. I mean, they have been in preparation for several years. Teachers at the grade 6 level have been trained in assessing the NSC. Quality assurance officers have been deployed to all regions.
Starting February 18, the Transport Authority will be suspending the road licenses of public passenger vehicle PPV operators who have 10 or more outstanding traffic tickets or warrants. This year, license renewal will take place from February 18 to March 31, and new license applications will be processed in May.
The only new license application we will accept between February 18 and March 31 is from the contract carriers, because a lot of them would have imported buses and their buses will be on the wharf, and we will accommodate them. However, for persons who are already within the system, have license already and renew, and you have a little one case, we will accommodate those on a case-by-case basis.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
Do you have a loved one, friend, or client who passed away since 1998? The Electoral Office of Jamaica needs your help to update the voters list with information for these persons, government agencies, churches, insurance companies, hospitals, and funeral homes, and you, the public. We want you to provide us with the records to confirm the status of these persons. Call the EOJ at 888-991-VOTE or visit the nearest EOJ office. For more information, visit our website at ecj.com.jm.
You know anybody living with epilepsy? Yes? Then you probably have also heard some myths about the condition. Well, watch this next feature to see if there is any truth to some of those beliefs.
What do Socrates, Theodore Roosevelt, Charles Dickens, Alfred Nobel, Prince, Lil Wayne, Elton John, Danny Glover, and Hugo Weaving all have in common? If you said they're all famous, that's not quite the answer I'm looking for. All these prominent figures are believed to have or had what many know as fits or seizures associated with epilepsy, one of the oldest and least understood medical conditions.
It is not dopey take you over, it is not spirits. We have these myths that we do need to dispel in Jamaica. Some people think it's contagious, and it is not contagious. You cannot catch epilepsy. Anyone, anytime can get epilepsy.
So, what is epilepsy? It's a disorder of the brain characterized by recurrent seizures, which are short periods of involuntary movements involving a part of the body, a partial or focal seizure, or the entire body, a generalized seizure. Our brains run on electricity, which is produced by cells called neurons. In some people, these neurons sometimes produce a sudden electrical burst or power surge, resulting in a seizure.
Epilepsy is a chronic disorder, just like asthma or diabetes. It's a disorder of the brain. And so when a patient has a seizure, they do have unusual behavior at the time of their seizure. But otherwise, they're usually quite normal. It's also not a mental illness. People with epilepsy are not crazy. It's a brain disorder, but it's not a mental illness.
The cause of epilepsy can be genetic.
meaning that you can be born with a genetic disorder that predisposes your brain to be abnormally wired, and that you are more likely to produce these epileptic discharges and have seizures recurrently. Sometimes you may have, when the baby is being formed in the first few months of their embryological life, you may have an abnormality happening with the brain formation.
Then, there are other conditions that can occur at any time during someone's life that can cause epilepsy.
Those conditions that are acquired would be those related to a physical injury to the brain or an infection in the brain, such as meningitis, which is an infection of the covering around the brain, or an encephalitis, which is an infection of the brain substance itself, as well as you may have stroke, decreased blood supply, nutrients going to the brain, also causing seizures and epilepsy.
Seizures do not always involve convulsions or jerking of the body. There are in fact over 20 different seizure types. Many are quite subtle, as in the case of 12-year-old Liana.
We found out when she was about 3 months old. It was something very subtle. We found out that she was just staring in one direction for probably a minute or two, keeping that stare.
For Marvin Fullerton, his experience was different.
I first found out in 1994, November 1994, when I was in technical high school. What I did was feeling some itching on my skin. I went to the school nurse, asked her what was wrong with me, and she told me that I need to change my bath soap. Right.
And what happened after that?
Well, I changed my bath soap and nothing really changed after. But it was January 4, 1995 when I had my first attack. And I woke up in my father's car going to hospital.
Even though he was soon diagnosed with epilepsy, Marvin was able to live a normal life for most of his years as a student.
I was able to go to school. I was put on simple medications such as Tegitol CR 200. No problem. It was easy taking it. It prevented me from having an attack, but my body was not having much problems at those times.
Marvin went on to attend the Vocational Training Development Institute, VTDI, and the University of Technology. He holds a diploma in architecture and construction management. But despite his academic achievements, he still has challenges gaining employment.
I'm not working right now because it was just the other day I was in the hospital. Right, and I got an interview for a job. The interview was wonderful, but I was in the hospital, so the job somewhat got turned down. They found out about the situation and I got turned down.
Unfortunately, there are those who believe that persons with epilepsy cannot work or lead normal lives.
Most people, 70 to 80% of people with epilepsy can have their seizures controlled. It's the person you employ who you don't yet have their first seizure. Those are the ones that you should be worried about, because any of us can develop epilepsy for different reasons at any time.
If you believe someone is having a seizure, there are some things you should never do.
Do not put any objects in the mouth. Do not put a spoon to hold the tongue down. Do not bring scallion. Do not take a dirty sneaker and put over the face.
So then, what should you do?
You need to cushion their heads. Whether you have a cushion or a jacket, you can take off and make a cushion just to support the head so they don't damage themselves. You loosen, if it's a man with a tie, loosen his clothing so that he can get some air and he can relax. You turn the person on the side. Do not put them with their heads right back. Turn them on their side and the tongue will fall and any fluids of the mouth will drain out to the side. And I guarantee you, you cannot swallow your tongue. A seizure would take between 3 to 5 minutes. Now, if the seizure continues for more than 5 minutes, you should take that person to the hospital.
Anti-seizure medication is the most commonly used method to control seizures. Discounts are available for epilepsy patients who are registered with the National Health Fund. But there are side effects. Some persons experience weight gain, drowsiness, irritability, skin rashes, and blood platelet changes, among others, all of which require understanding from those around them. Then, there is also medical marijuana or medical cannabis.
It seems to have helped a number of, especially children with epilepsy that have been intractable, that is difficult to treat. But in Jamaica, we still need legislation in order to use it, and there's still a lot of research that needs to be done about the dosing of the CBD or cannabidiol to be used to treat epilepsy, but it surely seems as though it may be promising.
Research has also shown that diets such as a ketogenic diet can help control the onset of epileptic seizures. The Jamaican Association for Epilepsy offers support for persons with epilepsy and their families. The association also holds regular meetings with members at the Andrews Hospital to share experiences and discuss concerns. They can be contacted at telephone 968-8274 or email jaepilepsy@gmail.com.
If anything, all this stirring on Saturdays has made me realize that if you think of it, if you never thought, done it, or never done it before, for every action, attitude, or thought, there's a word or phrase to match. Today, I learned that there's a word for someone who stares at someone else while they're eating, in hope that they will give you some of their food. And no, it's not the mouth of water for milk of food. It's in fact called groking. Proof to me that I'm never too old or young to learn.
On the board this week, the Jamaica Youth for Christ, in association with Barry Vision Films, present Jamaica International Faith Film Festival, JIF, from Friday, February 22 to Saturday, March 2, 2019. The festival will span 4 parishes, Kingston, St. Andrew, Manchester, and St. Anne, and will attract film enthusiasts and professionals from across the region and the world. Attendees will enjoy 9 days of films, workshops, and music, among other activities. Special guests will be Sheila Wofford, award-winning Christian writer, director, and actress from Tennessee. To register and for more information, including the full list of activities, you can visit their website at www.jiffestival.com or call 876-369-4952. Come and be a part of the revival of the film industry in Jamaica. All events are free. Get ready for a special Valentine's weekend as the Gregory Isaacs Foundation hosts another staging of Red Rose for Gregory. This will be held on Sunday, February 17, 2019, starting at 7 p.m. at the Ligani Club in New Kingston. Come see international recording artists Peebo Bryson and Regina Bell, alongside several local acts. If you haven't already, purchase your tickets online at touchstoneticketing.com or call 876-532-9918 for more information. You can't afford to miss this, a staple in this year's Reggae Month calendar of events. Do you have something to share on our notice board? Give us a call or email cthomas@jis.gov.jm or kferguson@jis.gov.jm.
God knows how much I've tried, the truth I cannot hide, to keep you satisfied. True love I now exist is the love I can't resist, so jam by my side. Ooh, yeah.
A few months ago, our reggae girls made us the first Caribbean nation to qualify for a FIFA Women's World Cup. And in true Jamaican style, there was much celebration. 2 whole weeks of it to be exact. Here is a look back at some of the highlights as we prepare for France 2019.
Jamaica's going to the World Cup. They celebrate in the corner. They make all 4 penalties. Congratulations, Jamaica.
October 17, 2018, the day our senior Reggae Girls football team created history by becoming the first Jamaican and Caribbean team to qualify for the FIFA Women's World Cup. In honor of the girls' rare feat, the government of Jamaica rolled out 4 days of grand celebration ahead of France 2019. The official celebratory activities kicked off on Saturday, December 15, but the tribute started a day early when the overseas-based team members landed at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston.
I feel really honored. I know everyone else feels honored. It feels so good to be celebrated, but I mean, we were just doing what we needed to do and we got it done. So it just feels really good that everyone else believes in us and wants to celebrate with us.
The celebration picked up momentum in the next few days.
I join every sport-loving Jamaican, and more so those who are lovers of football, in wishing the Reggae Girls all the best in their preparation. Montego Bay is 100% behind you girls.
The country's premier University of Physical Activity and Sport was only too happy to host the next leg of the victory party.
You can come to GC Foster College because we're doing all the supporting areas. We have some of the best physical therapists in Jamaica. Every single one of our most prominent Olympians since 2008, their massage therapists have been trained at GC Foster College.
Thanks to you guys for putting the time in the curriculum and allowing us to kind of understand that it's here. You know, we can bring our athletes here, we can train here, and feel confident doing that. So thank you.
The motorcade across Montego Bay, St. Catherine, Kingston and St. Andrew drew many fans and admirers.
Give me an R! Give me an E! Give me a T! Give me another G! Give me an A! Give me an E! And which football side is the biggest football side in the world? Listen, Reggae Girls! Reggae Girls! Everybody else say Reggae Girls, what we say?
Final stop for the day was the Hype Zone in the community of Arnold Gardens, the home of 2 of the players.
I think that we're on the right track in relation to acknowledging the girls' achievement, making them feel special, making the people of Jamaica know who they are, and also ensuring that we do things to inspire them and to motivate them to greater heights.
Day 2 kicked off with an engaging meet and greet session with members of the press. That was followed by an empowering praise, worship and Thanksgiving concert at Emancipation Park.
And I want you to stretch one towards them for me. And I declare God will anoint them. To do the right practice. To watch the right replays and the right matches and the right everything. And I declare victory. Victory! Victory! Say! Victory! Victory! Say! Victory! 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 Hold it. Say we done win already. Done win already. Done winner. Say! Done win already. Done win already. Done. Say!
Victory reigned on the girls the very next day as they were given keys to the city of Spanish Town, St. Anne, and Kingston and St. Andrew.
I know you will enter the World Cup believing that you can win it. And wheresoever that takes you, we will be proud of you, and I'm sure you'll be proud of yourself.
The Honorable Robert Mr. Marley was born on the 6th of February, 1945.
Other events included a visit to the Bob Marley Museum, an inspiring trip to the Women's Center of Jamaica, and courtesy calls with the Mayor of Kingston, Leader of the Opposition Dr. Peter Phillips, and Governor General Sir Patrick Allen and his wife Lady Allen.
We're very proud to make this certificate of recognition presented to the Jamaica's national women's football team.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness fittingly brought the day to a close with a reception at the Pegasus Hotel.
Just being among you tonight, I get a very good feeling, a good sense that you're going to do well in this competition. I get a sense that you could win.
From day one, the starting of the celebration, the Jamaicans that came out, the support was tremendous, and we're just happy to be here.
Thank you guys for coming out tonight to support the girls. They need the support now more than ever, and we're just going to have to continue to strike hard.
As the final day of celebrations arrived, the girls were treated to a fun yet relaxing trip to the North Coast. After such outpouring of love and gratitude, the girls are clear that they feel empowered and motivated to represent our island home at the Women's World Cup Finals. Mark your calendars. France 2019, June 7 to July 7.
Go girls, make us proud. Reggae girls.
The following is brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with kind support of NIA and USAID.
Criminal minds think they are cunning. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency have them running. Your friend a shout, come take time running. Because we ready for the ops. Drive up on your block, step out now the block. Cyber take about your laptop. Pull up every lock, no evidence to drop. We put it in a cuffs and now we have the underground. From your system, you better look out for. When you move corrupt, better look out for. Please say you get wet, look out for. Look out for, look out for. From your system, you better look out for. When you move corrupt, better look out for. Please say you get wet, look out for. Look out for, look out for.
The proceeding was brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with the kind support of NIA and USAID.
MOCA, MOCA.
We have come to the end of Jamaica Magazine for today. As always, thank you for watching, and remember, you can catch this and other episodes at any time, simply by subscribing to our YouTube channel. We also have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts, so like, comment, and share. On behalf of the entire production team here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.